Right, good morning and welcome. It is the 26th of March. The year is 2025, a very rainy day here in Nairobi and elsewhere in the country. We'll be telling you more about the show and the weather forecast. My name is Fred Ndimuli. How hot is the coffee where you are?
My name is Ann Odida. Weather for two indeed. How hot is your coffee? This is Morning Cafe. Karibu sana.
The headlines are even hotter. Below average CS, sio sisi tumesema. It's the front page of the Standard today. And unakata?
Sina maoni. Standard wako nayo. Taifa leo Gachagua akanyaga breki.
Angekanyanga shingo pia. Revealed legal fee scandal in counties, and I feel like the Daily Nation is a bit diluted nowadays on the front page. A bit soft.
Yeah. The Star MPs abandoned 9 billion shillings tower, blow cash on lavish hotel.
Nothing more to be said on that. The sentence is very long and it tells you the entire story.
Yeah.
Police changes raise eyebrows. That's the front page of the People Daily.
And Business Daily, banks cut parastatal loans by 31 billion shillings on Mbadi order.
Yes, what they're not putting on the front pages, at least, is the biggest discussion, and it is the anticipated trip by President William Ruto to Mount Kenya. Hopefully next week. They're not really committed on the dates. So today we'll be having these four people, 2 senators and 2 members of the National Assembly. Joe Nyoto, Senator Muranga, Geoffrey Ruku, MP Mbeere North, Onesmus Ngogoyo, MP Kajiado North, and Tabitha Karanja, Senator. I'm informed that Senator for Nakuru may not be able to make it, but at least the gentleman will be here. Facing the Mountain is a conversation today. Do stand by for that. Starting at 6:30. Tuangalie pale ukivuka boda wanasema nini? Watu wa Uganda bado wanazungumzia umeme.
When does it end? Shocking defects in Umeme closet. Now, there is a dispute there where with barely 5 days left for Umeme to exit management of the electricity infrastructure, the asset owner has raised queries over defects within the system that could cost billions of shillings, despite the Attorney General's opinion that the regulator, that is the ERA, overstepped its mandate to scrutinize Umeme's investments. Pages 4 and 5.
Yes. The Daily Monitor matters Umeme's buyout in Uganda. Still in Uganda, government unveils plan for 10 new expressways. Nyinyi mko na moja hapa Nairobi, wale wanazungumzia 10. Wanasema over 163 mega transport projects to be implemented. The full list is on pages 4 and 5 of the new vision in Uganda. But 10 expressways. Kenya mkifikiria kuringia watu mko na expressway moja kutoka pale Mlolongo mpaka hapa Westlands. 10. Pale chini a picture of President Museveni with the Muslim leaders as he hosted the annual iftar dinner. You know, we are getting close to the end of the month of Ramadan.
Yeah.
So probably next week, Sunday, Monday, maybe kuna ka holiday hivi. Not bad. So we're anticipating a long weekend. Matters education, 300,000 skills Uganda needs. That's a free university guide inside this paper, The New Vision. What about in Tanzania?
Gazeti la Mwananchi wanasema jaribio tiba ya ukimwi Afrika latoa tumaini, na jaribio la kimatibabu la kibunifu limeonyesha baadhi ya wanawake wanaweza kudhibiti maambukizi virusi vya ukimwi, hiyo ni VVU, bila tiba ya dawa za kufubaza makali ya virusi ARVs kwa muda mrefu baada ya kupokea mchanganyiko. So they're saying that women can actually prevent it, or women are
a better placed when they use a certain regimen of ARVs. They can actually contain the viral load.
So it becomes undetectable.
Yeah, probably.
Interesting. Yes. Anasema masuala ya Ramadhani pale, huduma ya maji saa 24 bado ni changamoto. Habari kamili katika kurasa wa 25. Lakini habari kuu hapa ni Chadema ya waita wanaotaka ubunge. Wamo pia wanaotaka udiwani na waliogombea mwaka 2020 vikao kufanyika Dar. Hofu ya makada kutimkia vyama vingine ya tanda. Mnyika ajibu mapigo ya msajili sakata la Mchome. You know, gazeti la Mwananchi.
By the time you read this, you already know everything, all the angles.
You know?
So definitely, at least now you can see bigger headlines about the political process in Tanzania as they get closer to election. October. But remember, wanasema nini? No reforms, no election. Na hiyo ni mwito wa Chadema. Na pale juu anazungumzia CCM, Wasira akemea rushwa CCM. So there's corruption even in the parties, and this is the ruling party in Tanzania. Still remaining in Tanzania, that story about the renewed hope in quest for HIV cure forms a big story on the front page of the Citizen. They say a groundbreaking HIV clinical trial in Africa has shown that some women can control the virus without antiretroviral therapy for extended periods after receiving a combination of treatments, raising hope for a possible breakthrough in the near future. This could actually be something interesting. This story is on page 2 of the Citizen. And I know, especially now with the withdrawal of funding from USAID, withdrawal of the US from the WHO, there have been complaints and concerns about the availability of antiretroviral treatment for many people living with HIV in Africa. And a huge load of that is actually in East Africa. Uganda, Tanzania, even Kenya, and South Africa. So if at all there's hope for HIV cure, that could actually be better.
Is it really cure or just containing it?
Getting closer to the cure, because they're saying if at all we can contain it, then that's one form of treating it. Yes. So 4 out of 20 women with acute HIV infection remained off antiretroviral therapy for 18 months. All right. Habari nyingine pale kwenye ukurasa wa mbele wa The Citizen, why many bodabodas lack side mirrors. Hawa wanaenda tunaanda akiwa mbele yako unaona tu ana drift.
Wanafanya hivi na mkono.
Anafanya na mkono na hata juu kwa upande gani. Na Chadema hits back at party's registrar in row over quorum. Political story. You see now, it is a political year, but see which kind of stories. Bodabodas, a bigger headline. HIV, then maswala ya siasa pale chini. Yes, that's Tanzania. So we'll be back to take a look at the local dailies in a short while. For now, let's focus on the weather situation. And I told you it is a rainy day in most parts of the country. And we start off with Garissa. Because in Garissa it is 26 degrees Celsius, but it feels like 28. Look at the outlook today. Cloudy for most parts of the day. They say light rain, but believe you me, this is perhaps the highest rainfall we'll get. 21.1 millimeters of rainfall in Garissa today. Huko unajua kinyesha mpaka hiyo mto inaitwa Tana River inajaa inafurika. Then you can't cross into Garissa. Just before you get to Garissa town, there's a very huge bridge. Kukinyesha hiyo mtu unafurika, you can't get into Garissa. You can see Garissa there, but you can haipitiki.
Lakini ni joto. It's warm.
Yes, it's very warm. Highs of 33 degrees. So before you even take a look at the other places, let's take a look at this map. So you can see the systems here. Central part of Kenya, areas around Meru and Garissa is somewhere here. Central Highlands, that's where the cloud cover is. It is the same thing in central Uganda. Ni kama kila mtu alipewa mawingu yao katikati, poop. Hata Tanzania wakapewa kadogo hapa, pap. Areas around Tabora. But in Kenya, areas around Mount Kenya, Meru, Murang'a, pale ndio kutakuwa na mvua. So let's take a look at Nyeri.
It's 15 degrees in Nyeri, feels like it. Highs of 22 degrees, very, very cold in Nyeri today. Wanasema waka kidogo, but precipitation here is 8.9 millimeters. This will be felt.
Yes.
It will rain starting 11 a.m. all the way hadi jioni.
All right.
Yeah.
And if you think it's only in the Central Highlands, Coast, Kilifi, light thunderstorms and rain. Yes, 27 degrees right now feels like 30. It'll get as high as 31 degrees, but rainfall is being experienced even as we speak right now. 5.6 millimeters of rain, progressively getting higher as we proceed with the day. Mvua inanyesha na unatembea na vest. Yes. Naona tuangalie Kisumu huko areas za Seme na Osielo.
No, please, Fred. It's 19 degrees in Kisumu, feels like 24. Highs of 27 degrees expected today. Precipitation is 4.1 millimeters. Itasikika kidogo, huwa nashangaa sana below 5 kama it's
You'll be shocked. You see, Nairobi is definitely raining and we can feel it. Yeah, this morning that was serious rainfall.
Yeah.
But it's 17 degrees. Huku anasema precipitation in Nairobi is 3 millimeters. If we can feel 3 millimeters, then definitely they'll feel the 4 millimeters. But in Garissa, 21 millimeters of rainfall today. Yes. Highs of 23 degrees in Nairobi. It promises to be rainy and cloudy throughout the day. So leo ni ile siku ya kubeba mwavuli.
Weather for two though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kama uko off. Wengine mfanye kazi, wacha kufikiria mambo ingine. That's the weather situation. A lot of rain across the entire country. Let's come back and take a look at the traffic situation, and this will definitely be affected by the amount of rainfall this morning because there are a lot of puddles. And bado Sakaja, our governor, is yet to buy the boats, so tunangoja. Na ni kama hata hiyo mvua imekalia internet, so this thing is getting slower and slower. Yes, you can see major tributaries into town from afar. They look green, but you can see dots of red around the Pangani interchange and some bits around Westlands. The others just look normal, but if we expand the map, Thika Road is green all the way past Githurai. Unajua zile zinakuanga hapa Githurai, Kasarani, Allsops, KCA University. It's green all the way, only getting to that bottleneck at Pangani interchange. Murang'a Road is getting busy. Now, as you see these dots here, it means that Murang'a Road, sababu ya mvua, kuna shida kidogo. After umepita Pangani interchange, because hapo ndo watu wana expect kuna traffic. Murang'a Road is much slower today, probably because of rain. A lot of puddles there on the road. If we take a look at Jogoo Road too, at this time of day, which is a bit early, 10 minutes past 6, Makadara is building up slowly. Ile roundabout ya St. Stephen's Jogoo Road, ile inaingia Likoni Road, it's getting busy. Na pale kwa City Stadium roundabout, it's building up as well. Upande ule mwingine, inaitwaje huyu?
Jogoo Road?
Not Jogoo Road.
Komarok.
Areas of Komarok, hiyo barabara inaitwa Kangundo Road. Kangundo Road is looking busy. Areas around Komarok, Kayole, pale Umoja One Market as you get closer to Outer Ring Road. And this road is very interesting because it's usually busy on both sides of the road, heading towards town and heading the other way. Pale chini, Fedha is building up, and pale Tumaini pale as you get closer to Donholm. So yes, do expect a lot of traffic on Outer Ring Road as well. Eastern Bypass is getting busy. You can see areas around pale after the KQ headquarters. It's getting busy. You can see stretches of red and yellow getting closer to Outer Ring Road. And even after that, as you get closer to Cabanas, pale matatu zinabebana. So combined with the rain, do expect a lot of slow traffic. Mombasa Road not looking bad. On the expressway, Southern Bypass is good. Lang'ata Road hakuna shida. Watu upande hii by the way wananga shida ya traffic.
Yeah.
Traffic inakuanga tu upande ile ingine.
Working from home.
Working from home.
Yes.
What ya Karen. The Nairobi Expressway coming from the western direction past ABC Place, you can see a long stretch of red upper. This is the entry, the main entry into the expressway. Pale just before you get to Lion Place. So I think a lot of people are trying to get onto the expressway to cross to the other side of town. So that's the traffic situation. We do expect this might change as the morning progresses. Of course, if we get an opportunity at hour, we'll try and come back and see mambo itakuwa namna gani.
All right, let's take a look at the quote of the day. True happiness isn't derived from external circumstances. It's an inner creation cultivated through your actions, attitudes, and the mindful choices we make each and every day.
Yes, 85 days into the year, 280 days left to the end. So you can actually do, to Christmas days about? 275 days to Christmas.
Thereabouts.
This is a headline today. On the standard below average CS. Sio mimi nimesema lakini tuangalie wanasema hivi kwa nini. Say is underwhelming. Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen is remembered more for his flashy and expensive clothes and jewelry than efforts to combat runaway insecurity in the country. Kenyans are living in fear. Bandits are having a field day. Terrorists are preaching to their captives. Deep in Kenyan territory, Goons are attacking perceived enemies with impunity as gangs take over cities and villages. A story on page 4. They've done a chronology of some of the things that may qualify their statement that this CS is below average, and is wearing there a very expensive jacket and a very expensive watch. Yeah? Hey, ile picha wametumia hapo ni serious. So, Messi Murkomen, they say that. Up north, over 30 people have been killed in bandit attacks this year. About 3,000 people, police officers, and 1,500 KDF soldiers are in the North Rift to fight banditry. Meanwhile, suspected Al-Shabaab terrorists attacked a police camp in Garissa, killing 6 officers. The US has already advised citizens not to travel or limit movement in region because of rising insecurity. Chiefs and NPR officers have been targeted with 5 administrators still missing. Na hii nakumbuka rais alisema watakuwa wamerudi na waahidi kabla ya saa ngapi? Haya. Politicians and officers are accused of contributing to insecurity, thereby undermining security efforts, and Kenyans live in fear as their security is not guaranteed. Yes, he is the one in charge. The story is on page 4. Murkomen unfazed as insecurity grows and prefers political intrigues. Back to the front page. Of course, our biggest discussion this morning will be about the anticipated trip to Mount Kenya by President William Ruto. But on the Standard, they say Ruto blows hot and cold over Mount Kenya. President William Ruto's visit to Mount Kenya region hangs in the balance after differences in opinions of members in his inner circle. Some feel it could be too soon for the president to go.
Really? Especially
coming immediately after the purge in parliament of some of the MPs from that region, and coming hot on the heels of this handshake with Raila Odinga. Remember, when he was campaigning in Mount Kenya, alikuwa anaambia sisi hatutatishwa, sisi hatutafanya handshake kama ile ya Uhuru Kenyatta. Sasa you're going back now, you've just done it. Wanasema probably should wait kidogo.
Lakini Kieni MP anasema hapa, we feel the president should come since he has also visited other regions across the country, and since he's also the president of this region, he is welcome and we shall be there to welcome him.
Yes, yeah, well, as I say, opinion is split on that. Matters agriculture, fertilizer question as farmers prepare fields for planting. That's the front page. Ghana and Ivory Coast close in on 2026 World Cup ticket after wins. And these African World Cup qualifying results from across the continent on the back page of the Standard today.
Taifa Leo wanasema Gachagua akanyaga breki. Washirika wadai ni hatua ya kimkakati, wapinzani wasije wakatumia hotuba zake kama silaha kumwangamiza. Aliyekuwa naibu rais amechelewa kutumia maneno makali dhidi ya Rais Ruto, akisema kiongozi wa taifa yu huru kufanya ziara katika eneo la Mlima Kenya, ila awahakikishie wananchi kuwa atakamilisha miradi iliyoanzishwa na Rais mstaafu Uhuru Kenyatta na ile aliahidi mwenyewe. Pia haujiwi na vituo vya redio kama hapo awali.
Tactical move, that one.
Yes. Ataki kuongea labda anaweza choka. Truthful man.
Truthful man. Anajua akiongea atasema ukweli mingi.
Interesting. On the top strip wanasema karibu mlimani lakini hatubadili msimamo. Wakazi waambia Ruto. Still on Ngirishi's statement, alisema a lot of stalled projects are there that were initiated by former President Uhuru Kenyatta yenye rais amelalia sana na anataka akamilishe.
So akienda kule anaenda kuambia ni miradi analeta ama anakuja kuambia mengi zaidi kuhusu broad based government ama anakuja kuexplain kwa nini MPs walitolewa bungeni.
Venye atafanya ya due to vultures wako kule.
Wanangoja pesa. Hiyo pesa lazima ikuliwe. Just like the dust that has to be seen.
Yes. Well. Gor Ingwe kuchezea ugani Nyayo ziko hatarini kuzuiwa uwanjani humo hadi baada ya AFCON fujo zikitokea.
Watu wakumbuke hiyo stadium inangojewa in August for AFCON.
Yes.
Mkienda kuvunja viti, mjue we are starting from zero again.
Yes.
Actually, I think this is not a good decision. Yes. Wangepelekwa City Stadium. Yeah.
Sunday mlichoma sana.
Watu walichoma sana kule. And you see that's what is anticipated because it sent signals wale wa Ingwe. Peter Salassi had worn an Ingwe jersey.
Yeah.
Yes. So you can imagine if those were the scenes witnessed during that international match, what will happen on Sunday at the Mashemeji Derby?
All right. Vidokezo zingine huku chini. Tuju aripoti kome kwa tume ya EACC. Aliyekuwa waziri awasilisha malalamishi kuhusu madai ya ukiukaji wa maadili. Judiciary bado imeshikwa tu. Afueni vituo vikiongezeka baharini. Vituo vya mafuta vinavyoelea baharini Lamu vimeleta afueni kwa wawekezaji, na Misri yatoa pendekezo kutuliza Gaza. Taifa Leo.
Right. Tukiendelea gazeti zingine, Daily Nation revealed legal fees scandal in counties. This is the biggest headline on the front page of this paper. Rogue officials are working in cahoots with some law firms that are raking in billions. Listen to this. A county paid a law firm 10 million shillings to defend a civil case where the plaintiff had sued for 1 million shillings in damages, in a textbook case of misuse of taxpayers' funds by devolved units. And the Auditor General, Nancy Gadungu, is back on the front pages. She says this is replicated across the country, with senior officials often ignoring set guidelines despite having capable in-house lawyers who can take up some tasks. They have legal offices in the counties. Lakini kuna mtu amesue for 1 million, munalipa lawyer 10 million kwenda kudefend your case. Yeah, they have listed some of those counties there. Of course, the great city of Nairobi, County 0047, leading in some of this, 21.37 billion shillings in legal fees. My lawyers wanaingiza pesa.
Yes.
Kiambu 517 million, but surely Nairobi 21.3 billion?
That's a lot. The highest.
It's like the entire amount that goes to counties. Some counties have never even gotten to this kind of allocation. Huko Kisumu ni 46 million. Tuangalia wapi? Turkana 165.6 million. I tell you. That is there on the front page of the Daily Nation. You can take a look at how your county is doing in as far as legal fees are concerned. The story about President William Ruto going to Mount Kenya is also featuring prominently on the front page of this paper. So anasema, and they've juxtaposed this, the two stories. They say revealed legal fees scandal in counties as Ruto's Mount Kenya allies prepare way. Gachagua men dismissed tour. Political leaders from the Mount Kenya region allied to President William Ruto have retreated to their backyards to prepare the ground for his forthcoming development tour. Now they're calling it development tour. President Ruto has held a series of meetings with the region's elected leaders at State House, Nairobi, as part of his consultations before kicking off the week-long tour of the region that swept him to power in 2022, but has since turned hostile since the impeachment of his deputy president, Rigathi. Pale Juu Matters IEBC interviews. Remember, today is the third day of the interviews. The last three candidates for the position of chair of the IEBC appearing before the panel today. Alafu after that wale wengine ndio tujue commissioners wangapi, lakini tetesi zinasema ni kama hii ni smoke screen. Wanasema window dressing. Ni kama jamaa ashachaguliwa. Ni kama tunajua nani atakuwa IEBC chairman.
Anasema,
do you see it that way?
Yeah.
Ni kama ishachaguliwa.
Yeah. Ni kama wanajua what they're doing. And you know, wanasema panapo moshi kuna nini? Kuna moto. Ama panapo moto kuna moshi. Whatever they say.
Yeah, the smoke or the fire.
Both
are there. Moto na moshi ziko. All right. On the back page, yes, Matters IEBC interviews. You can read more of that on the Daily Nation. The Star. MPs abandon 9 billion shillings tower, blow cash on lavish hotels. Now, lawmakers have relocated House committee meetings to expensive venues. This is very, very true. Story on pages 4 and 5. Unaona hata wakiita press wanaenda kule very, very lavish hotels. And they still have a new building.
Yes. Wanasemaje, MPs have abandoned their splendid 9.6 billion shillings multi-story building in favor of luxury hotels where they squander millions of taxpayers' money. Unaona venye wamesema, it's your money, taxpayers' money. It has come to light that lawmakers from both the Senate and the National Assembly have relocated their committee meetings to expensive hotels. Funny enough, watakuja hapa na wajitete. Wanasema,
hii lazima tuwaulize.
Yeah.
Mbona mnatumia fedha za Wakenya namna hii? Na tumewajengea Bunge Towers kwa shilingi bilioni 9 tu. Yeah. Walikuwa wanasema it's very tiny.
Yeah. Bado wanataka more.
Ofisi ni ndogo, hazitoshei watu.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I tell you.
I saw somebody ask a question, why don't we make politics a poor man's job yesterday? What if though?
Oh, yes.
Will they be going that route? President Ruto is quoted here saying there will be no more requests for travel to hotels because we now have committee rooms here. I want to see a reduction in Parliament's budget. Is the reduction in the room with us? It's not. Our last batch of interviewees face panel as IEBC vetting ends today. Our photos here of Anne Amadi, Jacob Ngwele, Abdul Kadir Lorot Ramadan, Edward Katama Ngeiwa, Charles Nyechai, Francis Kakai, Erastus Ethekon, Joy Brenda Masinde Madivo. Hao ni wengine walifanya jana na Monday.
Yes, because you see, and this paper has done very well to actually put the faces of all the candidates who have been interviewed.
Yes.
Because the problem was earlier in the week, media had been accused of just using 2 photos of perhaps the most known faces, suggesting that ni kama washachaguliwa. Yes. Probably that's where the discussion is coming from. Yeah.
Saying we are inciting. This is the Star, fresh, independent, and different.
You can grab your copy. It's only 60 bob in Kenya, 1,000 shillings in Tanzania, and 2,000 bob if you are in Kampala, Uganda. People Daily, police changes raise eyebrows, matters promotion. It's been a while kabla tuzungumzia maswala ya polisi. You can read more on that story on page 4. Queries on 3 billion shillings spending on private university students. Apparently, the government has been paying for university students in private universities.
Oh, wow.
Na wale hata wako kwa public wengine hata wameshindwa kwenda shule. And I have a very interesting story here about female politicians. Women MPs are saying that let the Nakuru governor, Susan Kihika, nurse her twins in peace.
In peace.
Yes. So apparently she gave birth recently to twins in the US, na wakasema wachaneni na yeye. Mnapiga kelele nini? Kama hataki kujifungua watoto hapa Kenya, sababu hospitali zenyu zinakaa fua. Despite the fact that she's one of the governors who should be making the hospitals better. Wacha enda fanyie maneno yake US.
Well, just to still on that, Daily Nation may highlight something here. Activists want US president to deport Kihika.
Why deport her? I think sometimes we go too far. Yeah.
Interesting.
Pale June maswala ya IEBC, Kissinger, who's one of the candidates who appeared before the selection panel yesterday, says he trashes claims that he was dismissed from the judiciary. That's the People Daily.
Matters business now. Business Daily. Banks cut parastatal loans by 31 billion shillings on Mbadi order. And commercial banks slashed lending to cash parastatals by 30.9 billion shillings in the year ended December 2024, reflecting the impact of high default rates that prompted the Treasury to freeze borrowing approvals and guarantees to public entities with huge debts. This story is on page 2, if you want to read more about it. Kenya Airways posts its first full-year profit in 12 years. Anasema hapa, a stronger Kenya shilling coupled with a reduction of dollar-denominated loans and higher turnover helped to lift the national carrier Kenya Airways to its first full-year profit since 2012, booking a record 5.4 billion shillings in net earnings last year. Last month, tulisoma story flani about Kenya Airways. I don't know.
You know, what people don't know is that because the airline has been making huge losses for the past 5 years, posting losses, kulikuwa na deni mingi. What happened is that Treasury took up those debts, amounting to about 19 billion shillings. So sasa haiko kwa books za Kenya KQ, iko kwa Treasury. Sasa, of course, ukisaidiwa namna hiyo lazima umake profits.
All right. Business Daily.
That's Matters Business.
Yeah.
Pale chini, kwa tika pale anasema how soapy products saved L'Oreal tax demand from KRA. And digital lenders hit as default rate up to 40% watu walipi wale wa mobile phones. Right? Matters Business.
Mshwari branch.
Yes, remember that we said we'll be looking at this headlines with this people. We're informed that Tabitha Karanja, Senator from Nakuru, has sent her apologies, but Joe Nyoto, Senator Muranga, Geoffrey Ruku, MP Mbeere North, and Onesmus Ngogoyo, MP Kajiado North, will be in studio for that discussion. Facing the Mountain is the main discussion today. Let's take a look at the cartoons this morning. Tunaanza na hii hapa ya The Star. Kuna ile podium ya sijui tutamuita sasa ni... You see what they've done here? This podium has a coat of arms of Kenya, lakini wametumia sellotape kuongeza Raila pale juu, ile ari ya Rao pale juu. Because the question is he speaking as government when he comes out here and hosts CSs at Capitol Hill, and at the same time hosting very senior envoys, the Chinese envoy, the UK ambassador, then the US charge d'affaires. And then anasema hapo, I'm not in government, but I'm here, but I'm not in government.
Yeah.
So what are you telling us? Bwana Raila Odinga. Yes. So namuona pale, kuna watu wanaingia, kuna CS wa Treasury pale, kuna invoice wanangoja hapa nje, anapiga simu, where? Capitol Hill. Watu wanauliza, what exactly is happening here, Capitol Hill? Is that another arm of State House?
Baba yao, hii ni The Standard. Na baba yao ni nani? A caricature here of former Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Waititu, ambaye yuko jela sasa hivi. Lakini the first photo we see baba yao, but they is
loot.
Yeah.
He's been accused of corruption, so he's actually been convicted, so we can openly say, okay, fine. Unless it is overturned.
Wizi.
Maswala ya education pia pale amevaa ile kofia ya kugraduate.
Yeah.
Ya kufungwa mguu hapa akiwa jela na akivaa zile jezi za wanahitaji za UDA pale. So baba yao, that's a cartoon on The Standard.
Alisema hajazoea.
Hajazoea hiyo maisha ya ya kule kizimbani.
People Daily.
Hey, kuna kiatu pale kuna moto. Iebc Chairperson. Vetting. Hii kiatu ni moto bwana. Most people have actually been in that position. A few have survived to tell the tales.
Yes.
Yes. Some are not with us. So kiatu inawaka moto, unaambiwa next, kuja kama unataka. Si unataka kazi?
Can you work under pressure?
Can you work under pressure? Yes, I can. That's a cartoon of the People Daily.
This one is the Daily Nation. Really, I'm not part of Ruto's government. Still a caricature there of Raila Odinga na hiyo podium.
Hiyo podium iko na R. Lakini ile cartoon nyingine imeongeza ile the coat of arms of. Ule jamaa bado anachorwa kama skunk.
Ameshangaa sana.
So what exactly is happening with Raila Odinga? Is he in government or not? Yes. Amekalia ile kiti, amesukuma ule jamaa nyuma. Actually, it's how the president is depicted. That he's been squeezed on his own seat. Amefinywa, lakini jamaa mwenye amefinywa anasema, ni hata siko.
Yeah. Yuko.
Siko kwa serikali. These are some of the discussions we'll be having with my panelists after the break. Do stand by for that. But later on,
Testy Wednesday is back. We are hosting today Mike Elastic, mixologist at the Panama. Tutakula nyama na tutakunywa mocktail. So stay tuned for this, starting 8 to 9.
All right. I don't know how much time we have to take a look at traffic. If I can get some direction on that. Yes, ukiangalia sahi, Thika Road is building up nicely. Areas around Githurai to Kasarani, there's a long stretch of yellow and red. Unaangalia hapa, so definitely if you're using Thika Road, kama hujatoka nyumbani, utaumia kidogo pale. That's Githurai, Kasarani, Garden City, another long stretch of red. And once you get to the Pangani interchange, it becomes dark red. Guys coming from Kiambu Road or Thika Road, you will spend quite some time there. At least Murang'a Road has opened up. We had seen a problem there, but for now, if you get past the Pangani interchange, you can get into town very comfortably using either Murang'a Road or Forest Road. Let's go further to the Eastland side, and you can see Jogoo Road now, a long stretch of red from Makadara all the way to the St. Stephen's Jogoo Road roundabout. Pale utatumia masaa, areas around Mbotela. But after that, it's not so bad even at the City Stadium roundabout, not so bad on Landis Road, and even when you get to Haile Selassie Avenue into town, not so bad at all. Tuangalie Kangundo Road because hapa inakuanga shida sana. Unaona, Kayole areas of Komarok, pale kwa ile junction ya Mama Lucy Kibaki Hospital as you get closer to Umoja One Market, getting red on both sides of the road. Kama unaenda Ruai ama unakuja town, shauri yako. Finally, this is the other big problem. Feather Pipeline, long stretch of red, matatu zinabeba watu pale, na wengine wenye wanaenda upande ya Southfield Mall towards Cabanas, it is also getting busy. Meanwhile, the other side of town, wale wanasema wana work from home. Hakuna traffic, Langata Road, Southern Bypass, Mbagathi Way, Ngong Road, nothing to worry about. Pale Wayaki Way, only at the entry to the Nairobi Expressway is where we're experiencing some slow traffic, but after that it's smooth all the way into town past the National Museums of Kenya. That's a traffic situation this morning. Kumbuka kuna nyesha, so kuna puddles all over. If you can get to town, kama unaendanga huko kazini, do it early. Yes.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, interact with us on our socials, TV47 Kenya on Facebook and YouTube, TV47 News KE. On X, my handle is at @Ann_Dida. The hashtag is Morning Cafe.
My handle on X is @FredIndimuli.
Stay with us.
is changing every day, and so should we, for the better. Each week, we tackle the big why, the question that should be on everyone's minds. Why isn't this fixed yet? Deforestation, global warming, and the adverse effects of climate change. The future isn't just something that we inherit, it's something that we create. Join us on The Green Fix as we tell the stories of those who refuse to give up. When it comes to fixing the planet, there is no time to waste. Join me, Shiksha Arora, on Thursdays at 9 p.m. on The Green Fix as we look into the big why, you and I.
For comprehensive information and education on your health, Body Garage is here.
Don't allow anyone to pluck out your good tooth as long as it is strong and stable.
Cancer doesn't start today and you get the symptoms tomorrow. By the time you pick it or the time it is manifesting in you, probably will be there about 5 to 10 years.
The eye is the window to the rest of the body.
Don't forget to stay hydrated.
And of course, you at home do take your water.
So the ultimate test is actually you check your urine. Your urine should be clear.
Clear like the water?
Yes. Should be able to see the other side of the urine. If your urine is colored or has changed color, you cannot see the other side, then you have not taken enough water.
Don't forget regular health checkups. Early detection saves lives.
I want the message be, we can prevent cervical cancer. We prevent cervical cancer in several ways. You have young girls and even somebody who's above that age, you can pay at least every 3 years. Somebody should have a pap smear done.
If you are 40, 45, 50, going upwards, once a year, please go see a doctor. Yeah, it's just for normal routine maintenance.
Hey there, friends. Welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in?
I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Jiunge nasi tunapoangazia safari za viongozi bora. Kutoka kwa ushindi mkubwa hadi masomo magumu.
Wakati wetu kwamba wasichana si wa kusoma, ni wa kuolewa, ng'ombe ipatikane, wazazi wakuwe watajiri.
Tunashughulikia yote.
I wish I were a better investor.
My parents taught me how to look for things for myself.
Tazama Mfahamu Kiongozi, ambapo kila kipindi kimejaa maarifa, mikakati na hadithi za kukuza azma yako.
For me to succeed, I have to fight.
Kila Alhamisi saa 1.
Older ladies, we gotta keep it together.
Our world is changing every day, and so should we, for the better. Each week, we tackle the big why, the question that should be on everyone's minds. Why isn't this fixed yet? Deforestation, global warming, and the adverse effects of climate change. The future isn't just something that we inherit, it's something that we create. Join us on The Green Fix as we tell the stories of those who refuse to give up. When it comes to fixing the planet, there is no time to waste. Join me, Shiksha Arora, on Thursdays at 9 p.m. on The Green Fix as we look into the big why, you and I.
For comprehensive information and education on your health, Body Garage is here.
Don't allow anyone to pluck out your good tooth, as long as it is strong and stable.
Cancer doesn't start today and you get the symptoms tomorrow. By the time you pick it or the time it is manifesting in you, probably will be there about 5 to 10 years.
The eye is the window to the rest of the body.
Don't forget to stay hydrated.
And of course, you at home, do take your water.
Professor Adams Olo.
The IEBC selection panel tasked with recruiting qualified individuals to fill the positions of chairperson and commissioners for the IEBC opened the floor on Tuesday morning for another 4 candidates to fill the late Wafula Chebukati's position. Appearing before the panel, Francis Kakai Kesinga defended his integrity in light of scrutiny over past allegations, assuring the panel that he had been cleared by the courts of any wrongdoing.
So in the records in Kenya is that you have been dismissed for gross misconduct, for violating public procurement law in Kenya. No, that will not be the law. That will not be the thinking, that will not be the understanding. I was not dismissed on those grounds. What were the grounds? You know, when that happened, they said that everybody must go and processes must take place and procurement and the EACC must come in and do the investigations and so forth and so on. So then, ideally, everybody was then let to go. And that's what happened, and I left the institution on those issues.
Kissinger, who is vying for the top position at the electoral agency, responded to allegations of an irregular payment of 46 million shillings for the construction of courts in Mavoko, stating that he was a clean man and capable of the job. The former Judiciary Deputy Registrar emphasized that there had been no new accusations against him in the past 10 years, and there was no case pending in court.
Some of those things were done by people I didn't understand. But because I'm a Christian, I forgave. And I moved on and started doing other things, including these election issues.
Kenya Power and Lighting Company Board of Directors Chairperson Joy Brenda Masinde Mdevo, during her appearance, stated that the election agency should implement good governance to prevent the leadership conflicts observed in the past.
Most of the chairs in the past, Isaac Hassan and Oswago, there's a difficult relationship there. Chiloba and Chebukati, there's a difficult relationship there. In fact, Chebukati, Marjan, I think they got into a place where things were so difficult they had to stick together because it was the 3 surviving commissioners and the CEO. So to break down that dichotomy, maybe we employ principles of good governance and have the commission on a basis where there may be part-time or you have fewer commissioners who have got very specific roles.
However, Mdevo addressed a petition filed by the Operation Linda Jamii lobby group, which suggested her disqualification from holding the commission's chairmanship due to her previous state office position. She clarified that she had resigned from the board and was ready to take the seat at the election agency. 3 applicants are expected to appear before the IEBC selection panel when they resume their interviews on Wednesday. Mike Kagwango, TV47, Nairobi.
Yes, indeed. The continuing interviews for the IEBC chairperson continue today. For the last day, the 3 other candidates will be appearing before the panel today. 8 have so far appeared, and so this is one of the big discussions we're having. Concerns abound on how much political influence is being witnessed in this process as well. As promised, of course, our biggest discussion today will be facing the mountain. with the anticipated trip of President William Ruto to the Mount Kenya region. We'll get to that. Allow me to introduce my panelists this morning. On my immediate right, Onesmus Ngogoyo, MP Kajiado North. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
And next to him is Joe Nyoto, Senator Murang'a. We're hoping to have Senator Tabitha Karanja of Nakuru with us. She has sent her apologies. We're still hoping Geoffrey Ruku, MP Mbeere North, will be joining us. Let's hope so that we can make at least a discussion about the Mount Kenya trip a bit more complete. But even on this, the ongoing interviews for IEBC chairperson, Bwana Ngogoyo, the concern, and even on social media, is that there's a lot of political influence, given the fact that political parties insisted on selecting members onto the selection panel. That is one. Two, the fact that now Raila Odinga, who was key in that discussion, is now working directly with William Ruto, who was on the other side of the table in that discussion. It would appear that then the political inclusion there is now lopsided towards one side. Do you share in some of these concerns in the ongoing process?
It's not a secret. Remember, the formula of getting the selection panel was changed from initially what it was because of the concerns that Raila Odinga took to the streets. And remember, before there was a clear formula bylaw, and what happened in the amendments, the IEBC amendments that were brought to Parliament, brought about the issue of political parties being involved in the process. Before, there were different umpires, institutions, and a few representatives now from political parties. But when you see, for instance, the UDA has its executive director sitting in the panel. ODM has a number, not just one. Both UDA and ODM have a number of panelists who are there courtesy of their political party. Under the circumstances, remember that from June 25th last year, the operations of government ceased to operate as a Kenya Kwanza government. It is no longer Kenya Kwanza. This is a broad-based government. William Ruto has brought in Raila Odinga. So what it means is that all the panelists actually belong, they are one-sided. Whether they will get a genuine and a good umpire to oversee the issues of election, it raises a question. Actually, you begin from a question mark. From where I see it, I don't think that we are going to get, it's already predetermined. You might not single out to say this is the person who will become, but remember, even from the shortlisting, you can already tell where it is going. For the chairman, for instance, it is headed towards a direction. You can see the dispute resolution chair for UDA is already shortlisted. You can tell some familiar faces here and there. And even for commissioners, you can tell where it's going. But my main concern is that, remember, Kenya is not short of any law. So the people who come in as commissioners are supposed to stick to the book. But even the last IEBC, why there was somehow a bit of chaotic towards the end of the transmission of the results is because it took a political dimension. People were expecting certain results. The results maybe were not available, or one or the other, whatever you were expecting did not happen. So in my assessment and my genuine assessment, I think they are going to get commissioners, but by and large 80% not it's not very straightforward commissioners.
But there's also argue that even elections are a political process, so it's not very wrong or out of touch to have political interests contained in there. But there must be some serious concerns given that elections for the past 20, almost 30 years have been highly contested in Kenya. And the IEBC has always been accused of being partisan in those contestations. Do you see the risk here with the claims that even this time round, the selection panel is already lopsided?
Well, thank you, Fred. And I think if you are going to look at a brief history of the electoral process in Kenya, why parties have always nominated members to IEBC. In this case, it's a selection panel. It dates back to the 90s when we had inter-parties parliamentary group. where a few things were agreed on, and then it was about the constitution of the then Electoral Commission of Kenya, the commissioners, that at least each political side was going to contribute or to propose a name or two, so that at least then when the elections happen ultimately, then that it is every party feels represented in the commission. And this is the same thinking that informed the selection of IEBC panelists. We had what was called the National Dialogue Committee, and that is where most of these things were agreed. But then the circumstances are different as we speak, because just like the Honorable Gogoyo is saying, the sides that were hitherto, on either side are now together. And what is even more hypocritical with these sides is that no side, represents the numbers that they represented in the last elections. And I think we have said that in the past, that if you look at we had NASA and Kenya Kwanza, but look at the numbers, look at who is in either of the coalitions. Raila Amolo Odinga had Martha Karua at that time as a running mate and as a supporter, and of course, who brought him a lot of votes. He had Kalonzo Musyoka, who again brought him a lot of votes. So, Raila Odinga cannot represent that side now alone, without the major supporters or without the major players that he had that time. Look at William Ruto, for example, who had Rigathi Gachagua, who actually brought him about 4.7 million votes. 47% of the total vote that he was able to garner. So when William Ruto goes there representing Kenya Kwanza, I think he doesn't have the moral authority. He doesn't have the authority to represent Kenya Kwanza, because over half of his support is not with him. Raila Amolo Odinga the same. So I think I think this is something that should be looked into on a very serious note, because then if these two sides, which are now actually together, then become if they become the people to determine who sits in the IEBC selection panel, then the next elections are already compromised, Fred. And I think there is a lot of hypocrisy in the whole thing.
Okay, many people are saying that even this whole process is just simply window dressing. That just as Bwana Gogoyo said, and the feeling on social media is that looking at the faces, people can already tell that probably this is already decided, that the interviews are neither here nor there. Do you share in those concerns?
Of course, yes. Of course, yes, Fred, because, at the end of the day, as we talk today, as we sit here with Honorable Gogoyo, we know that Parliament has been captured, both houses, the National Assembly and the Senate. And so, the people that will be proposed by the two leaders in the same coalition, but of course, masquerading as people who come from different sides, of course, we'll have an easy way into office. And although it doesn't concern this, there is a lot of hypocrisy. These two sides now, being together, even in Parliament, they are taking both the positions that are supposed to be reserved for the majority and the minority, So we have a situation in a Parliament where both the majority leader and the minority leader are on one side. Same with the whips and everything. They are taking. You have, for example, we have those committees in both houses reserved for members for the minority or the opposition, if you may. But they take those positions and also take the positions that are supposed to be on the majority side. So there's a lot of hypocrisy in this. But anyway, to answer your question, I think the process is already compromised, and I don't know how we can intervene in this particular matter. But then I think we just need to appeal to the morals of the two leaders. Because that's the only thing we can do for now.
Yet we remember how the cliques were working inside the last IEBC we had. That there were cliques among the 7 commissioners. It was 3 versus 4. Is that how this commission is supposed to work? That way it has to get down to a vote the way way probably a Supreme Court should do. That's how elections are decided, that the IEBC can sit and vote after Kenyans have already decided.
Based on the mandate, that would be a very divisive approach because you see, this is an umpire, and what should happen, people should go to a vote, and you should be able to oversee the process, tally, and announce that this is the winner, despite the fact that you would have preference, because even them, commissioners vote too. But you see, they are supposed to oversee the process. And just like judges, you might have a feeling, you might have a position, you might even have preference, but based on the evidence, based on the arguments, you make judgments based on evidence, specifically evidence. Actually, the Evidence Act is what guides the court. Now, for IEBC, it's about the vote. The process of voting and the voting itself, the tallying and announcing the winner. I largely believe that you could end up having a worse situation than what we had. Because when you have now a majority of commissioners already compromised, or rather already seen to look, for instance, part of the people I saw their candidates are friends of William Ruto. Some of the people who are there on the interviews are close friends, close allies of Raila Odinga. Now, for instance, what if they had a meeting and they said, now let's conclude about the election, about the presidency, about the governorship of a certain area. And that's how you lose countries, because once you already show that you have determined a position and people are going to a vote, the people going to a vote can express dissatisfaction. They can say, you know, we say no to such a process. But I think the events of last year and what happened after, you know, the young people came out to the streets should be an eye-opener to any leader in this country. It's not about William Ruto, neither is it about Raila Odinga. It's about Kenyans. Okay. And remember, the larger generation are not at the exit age. And when I say the exit age, both the president and Raila Odinga are either going to the exit age of 60 years and past. A majority of Kenyans are below there. Okay. So they are the people who need a confirmed future. They are the people who want to know their whereabouts in days to come. They are the people who want to know how will we secure our jobs, who will represent us here and there. And you know, it's not easy also to control them. I can tell you for sure it is not easy. Nobody foresaw that young people will be on the street saying no to something called the finance bill. They would have said no to a certain leader. They said no to the finance bill. So probably as we go forward, you will see dissent voices, but most of the dissent voices will be on issues. So I do not see this issue of IEBC escaping a lot of Kenyans. And it is common knowledge that if you do not have a good IEBC, it can lead to unforeseen disruption, violence, because you cannot announce, for instance, a leader who has not won on any seat and expect that it will go just that way.
Speaking to a number of ODM leaders, they say that such fears on the reconstitution of IEBC or the concerns that we have just discussed are unfounded, Senator, because Raila Odinga insists he's not in government. It is there on the cartoon today of the Daily Nation. He's depicted there sharing a seat with the president, actually almost squeezing the president from that seat. If my director can help me with this cartoon. And the CS for Treasury is there. Raila Odinga's podium is the one on the cartoon, not the presidential podium. But Raila says, I'm not in government. He appears to have concerns about how this is playing out to the general public. Even the concerns we are raising about the reconstitution of IEBC. That's why he's saying he's not in government. Those fears you have are unfounded. Do you agree with such a statement from him?
Not at all. And let me say once again, because I say it almost every time I appear on media, that I have a lot of respect for Raila Odinga. But this time round, he has gotten into handshake with the wrong number. And Raila Odinga has been very hypocritical over the last few days. You know, how on earth would he tell people that he's not in government while he has actually even penned a letter to President Ruto to tell him how grateful he is because of the intervention that he made when he was seeking to be chair of AU. Why would he say that he's not in government when we know that he has given names of four particular, four members who actually had leadership positions in his party, ODM, to be cabinet secretaries under the guise, in quotes, of donating experts. And we have questioned the expertise of these particular CSs. Personally, I've questioned, nobody has answered me what the expertise of Honorable Joho, for example, is. I mean, I've questioned why you would call the CS Energy, the Honorable the CS for Energy, who is a lawyer but now running the Energy Ministry. CS, Opio and how do you call him an expert in matters energy when he's a lawyer? Oparanya, Badi is an accountant, not an economist. And so, who was working at the University of Nairobi as an accountant before he joined Parliament. How do you call him an expert when you kick out Jugunan Ndung'u, a renowned economist, even internationally? So I think it's just a convenient argument for the Right Honorable Raila Odinga to say he's not in government. We know this is somebody who has forced the president to actually even create new departments in ministries, if only to accommodate his people. And these are announcements that were made last week. And basically, I would dare to say, Fred, that Raila Odinga is not only in government, but he's running government. I can tell you that Raila Odinga is more powerful in this government than William Ruto. And why I say that is because anything that Raila Odinga asks or demands will be availed to him. Because if he doesn't, and I've said it many times, then President Ruto gets very exposed. And Raila Odinga is taking advantage, full advantage of the vulnerability of President William Ruto. And so for Raila Odinga to say that he's not in government, I think there has never been a bigger joke. He's not only in government, but he's running government. He has more power than President Ruto himself.
If you look at the cartoon of the Star, because it has the same storyline, the podium, the blue podium that Raila Odinga uses, if my director can help me with that cartoon as well. The podium that he uses is blue and has the letter R there. But this time it's taped, actually hiding the coat of arms of the Kenyan government. Should we expect to see more of this Raila Odinga speaking for government while he still insists he's not in government?
When Raila Odinga summons or calls the CS for Treasury to his personal office at Capitol Hill, an ambassador visits the office, and Raila Odinga wants to assume that he has nothing to do with government. When two deputy party leaders and his minority leader and one of his long-serving minority leaders before, that is John Badi, are appointed, that tells you Raila Odinga is in government proper. But it is not convenient to say so to the masses. Raila Odinga will not come to Kibera, will not go to Mathare and announce that I am in government. The few places that he announces he's in government is when he's in Luo Nyanza. But he wants to carry the benefits of government, but he also doesn't want to carry the liability of this government. Remember, I think it is the government with the worst liability in the world over. Nobody would want to associate with President William Ruto with the kind of messes that he has in this government. And you see, Raila before has said that Ruto is not the kind of person to lead a country. He said for us to fix the country, Ruto must go. Actually, the Ruto must go came up with Raila Odinga. He said for a better economy, we must get him out. He said for us to have to stabilize institution, we must get him out of office. But now looking at what, especially the one that is hiding the coat of arms, I can tell you Raila would not want to say he's part of government. He will announce it in very many places that he only donated his people because the government was failing. But he's a beneficiary of the Gen Z's protest. And I think he has had the lion's share. But as it is now, he controls 90% of government. President William Ruto has 10%. And 10% maybe is what he sits on. He would just want to be president. Whatever Raila does, I think the best interest he has. I'm told even some of the CSS and the PSS who do not want to be sacked, they go to Raila so that Raila talks to Ruto. Even those ones who are there before. And I'm told Capitol Hill has become a very popular place from people within government, so that every morning, every now and then, they run to Capitol Hill. And if you want something in government, you have to tell Raila, so that now Raila calls William Ruto. It is also said in the corridor that President William Ruto does not know how to say no to Raila Odinga. And he even confesses that the majority he has in parliament is because of having ODM people. And without ODM, he confesses that he would not manage Kenya Kwanza alone, because he's lost almost, of course, the people from the central will tell you he's lost the mountain, but not only the mountain, he's lost a lot of us. I come from the South Rift, Kajiado, and I can tell you, my senator, the people who supported him, we are no longer there, because when we look at the circumstances that we are in now, there's a huge difference of the person we voted for, we campaigned for, and the deal that we have in government now. When it comes to development, when it comes to anything that we once agreed on, and including even the small things that, committees we held courtesy of our expertise in parliament, of what we went to school for. And now he feels that we need to be part of we need to do more of broadcasting like myself, which we are glad to do.
All right. Is Raila Odinga in government or not? It's a big question. He insists is not. It will be definitely one of the discussions and probably one of the questions that many people in Mount Kenya will be asking. Mr. President, you promised to the people of Mount Kenya that you would never get into such a deal with Raila Odinga. The president is going back to Mount Kenya probably in a week's time. This, many people will expect he'll give an explanation on. That's the next discussion we're going to have. But to set the mood for that story, for that discussion, we have a story here at TV47 on Mount Kenya racing for Ruto's return.
An imposing billboard of President William Ruto and his deputy Kithure Kindiki in Karatina Mathira constituency, home to former DP Rigathi Gachagua, is one of the strategies by Ruto's allies to prepare the region to receive the president and mobilize grassroots support amid jitters on the tour.
Wakati His Excellency William Samoei Ruto atakuja hapa kwetu, shida zetu zote atatatua. Maneno ya barabara zile zimekwama, ametuhakikishia ako na pesa na zote atakuamua.
After a 6-month absence from the Mount Kenya region, President William Ruto is expected to finally return to the restive region on Tuesday next week, a tour that was initially set to kick off last Sunday, but postponed to avoid antagonizing the region, hostile to the president, and re-strategize due to the impeachment of Gachagua and the ouster of his allies in House committees. The stakes in the long week tour are so high that Ruto's allies have been tasked to go to their respective constituencies and counties to mobilize residents and on social media platforms.
It is important that he comes and explains to us where we went wrong or how we wronged him, until he had to ask one of our sons, who is the one who had mobilized us to vote for him, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, where he was impeached as the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya.
The change in the tour dates came as President Ruto held talks with governors, cabinet secretaries and principal secretaries from the region on Monday on which projects should be activated immediately, as most of the national government projects in the region have stalled, among them the Mau Mau Road and other projects spread across the region. President Ruto and his deputy Kithure Kindiki have also held high-profile meetings with elected leaders from the region to prepare the ground for his arrival, days after former President Uhuru Kenyatta attended a Thanksgiving Mass at St. Joseph's Cathedral in Meru, while former DP Rigathi Gachagua continued to receive guests at his Wamunyoro home.
Unaona mtu akitembea ati unaona ni mkubwa, unafikiria ukubwa ndio kazi. Moja utajionea. Wengine naona wanajionea tayari. Si kazi rahisi kuongoza, and to shepherd your people is not an easy job.
Former Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza mocked the tour in a Facebook post, saying the only project President Ruto will be launching in Meru after 2.5 years is Governor Kawira Mwangaza impeachment project. Apul Kamau, TV47.
All right, on the front page of the Standard, they say Ruto blows hot and cold over Mount Kenya, with some of the MPs allied to him still not sure whether it's time for him to actually go for this tour. On the Daily Nation, it's also on the front page. Ruto's Mount Kenya allies prepare way while Gachagua men dismiss tour. On the front page of Taifa Leo, they talk about what changes the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has taken, remaining a bit more quieter than usual, staying away from media interviews and not engaging in fiery speech like he has done before, probably in anticipation of this same tour. Wanangogoyo, according to the Standard, there are those MPs allied to the president, of course, who feel that probably this tour has come at a very awkward time for them. That coming hot on the heels of this handshake, new broad-based expanded unity with Raila Odinga, one. Secondly, the kind of promises the president made that he's yet to fulfill to the Mount Kenya people. And thirdly, the purge that you just talked about Mount Kenya MPs being removed from crucial committees in Parliament. Do you agree that probably it would be a bit awkward for the president to go to Mount Kenya at this time?
For the second and the third issue, a bit awkward. One, because most of these MPs have hosted the president before in their constituencies while he was deputy president. They have also hosted him, majority of them, while he was president, because he took time to, actually William Ruto, I think in his diary he had written every 2 weeks he must visit Mount Kenya before elections and even after elections. It has only changed when it is no longer convenient to do so. About the roads and unfinished projects, that is a thorn in the flesh. We sit down with members of parliament, they don't like a situation where the president has launched a road from one end, he launches it from the other end, he comes and inspects it and the road is not yet done. So 2 years down the line, I am one of those members of parliament in Kajiado North. He launched a road, committed that 1 year the road will be done. It's called the 65 kilometers road from Ongata Rongai going to Ngong to Kiserian. And up to date, zero. Where he left it, nothing happened. Actually, he went, and I think they only did the paint of part of where the road was done, a 2 kilometer stretch. And the rest of the 65 kilometer is not yet done. So on the issue of unfinished projects, I can tell you members of parliament do not want him to visit the mountain. Even his, what we call them there, his sycophants. You know, like I saw the MP for Madira, there's a member of parliament from Kangema. All those sycophants combined, the women rep for Muranga, they are pleading with the president, please come when the projects are done.
Not now.
But yeah, that one they are telling him. They don't like it. It's only that he's also very stubborn, and you know, William Ruto and crowds, and he tells them, don't worry, I'll help you mobilize the meetings so that we have a crowd, and for optics, let us first do the meeting so that people do not say we have been denied entry to the mountain. But on projects, remember, any politician, you are as visible as the things that you do. You are as good to people because of things that were not there before you were elected, and they're there after you are elected. So on that one, I can tell you, but they also feel very bad that the purge happened. They do not have an explanation. The people of Muranga have lost the chair of the Budget and Appropriation Committee. No member of that, the sycophants, Betty from Muranga, the MP for Madhya, none of them got the position. They were diehards, they are proper sycophants, but none of them who got the position. When you go to Nyeri, they had a member who is the women rep for Nyeri, was always a member of the Budget and Appropriation Committee. It has gone to another county neighboring them. So can you imagine the whole of Nyeri does not have anybody sitting in the Budget and Appropriation Committee? some of those members feel we do not have anything to explain to our people. So the purge has affected them. You find, for instance, even in my county, no chairman of a committee, no vice to a committee, but you want to convince the people that we are right in the center of government. Remember, some of these positions, they also come with their privileges. They also come with opportunities. A chair of a committee would determine how much resources will go to a specific area or a project. If it is unfinished, they would determine, in terms of budgeting, how much more money we'll get. I can tell you, majority of the members of parliament from Kenya Kwanza would tell the president, please, let's get better timing.
Oh, no.
But because the president would not have anything to do with that, he wants photos, he wants a crowd of about 2,000, 5,000, so that the country would see he's doing well. Remember, this is a president who, even after rating himself through NGAO, National Government Administration Authority, they have found him, his own people have rated him at 17%. He has done his own polls. I'm told that he was below 22% when he did his international polls. And this is somebody who knows he's not doing well. So for optics, they would want to be seen that where I am being rejected the most, where I am believed to have a fight, I also want to be seen there. But it's not different. Mo used to do the same. He never missed to visit an area.
Are we saying that he's not even more concerned about the content of whatever he is going to be delivering there, including answers to projects, answers to questions? He's more about optics, Senator, because President William Ruto made various, very serious promises to the Mount Kenya region. One, that he would not engage in any handshake with Raila Odinga as his predecessor did. That was one of the discussions that made even people from Mount Kenya turn against President Uhuru Kenyatta, because they demonized the handshake. Now he's going back immediately after getting into the broad-based government with the same person that he had demonized. That many people in Mount Kenya would be asking, okay, can you give us an explanation on that?
Thank you, Fred, and allow me to take you back a little because my friend Gogoyo went twice. I just wanted to correct him because there is a time he said that when somebody has problems, doesn't want to be fired, that these days they're going to Raila Odinga in order for him to be able to talk to President Ruto. I wanted to correct my friend that Raila Odinga is not talking to William Ruto. Raila Odinga is ordering William Ruto. So I just wanted to correct my friend. If you do not want to be fired, I agree with him. You go to Raila Odinga, not for him to talk to the president.
Well corrected.
To order the president not to fire you. And he also said that Ruto doesn't know how to say no to Raila. It's only he cannot say no to Raila because, of course, he has no other plan. He has no other thing that he's holding on to other than Raila Odinga, and Raila knows that, and his people are reaping big. I can give you an example of the Senate where my friend, the Senator from Migori, whom I was with here last week, is a chair, Roads and the Transport Committee, and he's also vice chair of CIPIC, Public Investments Committee. So they are really taking advantage of the vulnerability of William Ruto. And I had not actually even seen the R covering the coat of arms before you brought that. So I cannot agree more with the cartoon. But now to come to the issue that you have raised with me about William Ruto and the handshake politics. His major campaign point was that, the Big Four agenda that he and President Uhuru Kenyatta had planned to do in their second term, that whatever derailed that, and it is on record, nobody doesn't know that whatever derailed that was a handshake. And we have seen him calling it a conundrum, what else did he call it? Funny things, that handshake. And so it only, exposes his dishonesty, that he was criticizing the handshake because he wanted to use it as a campaign agenda. And I can tell you, Fred, that Uhuru Kenyatta's handshake with Raila Amolo Odinga, because it's public knowledge, did not entail any positions. Uhuru Kenyatta never given Raila Odinga any positions, no cabinet secretary positions, no positions in the, for PSs, and nothing. It was just an arrangement. But William Ruto has now, gone too far with the handshake. Of course, 4 CSs for the time being, and quite a number of PSs, like I had said, that necessitated him to, of course, open new departments in ministries, if only to accommodate Raila Odinga's cronies. So William Ruto is not honest. William Ruto will have to explain, just like we are saying to the people of Mount Kenya, why did you condemn the handshake between Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Amolo Odinga so badly, and of course used it to galvanize support for yourself against the advice of President Uhuru Kenyatta, while you knew that you would give even a better, you would make even a bigger handshake with Raila Amolo Odinga. And it must be made clear that the people of the mountain have no problem with Raila Amolo Odinga as a person and his politics. And I've said it very many times, because Raila Odinga does not owe us anything. So if this handshake is being used to punish Mount Kenya, we will not blame Raila Amolo Odinga. We'll blame President Ruto, whom we voted for, and who is using that handshake to kick us out. And the Senate sometimes get forgotten. Anybody talking about Muranga and the loss that has been there will, of course, talk about the budget chair that was held by the Honorable Dende Nyoro, which is a big seat anyway. But it's also good to be, for it to be remembered that Joe Nyoto seated here was also chair in the Senate, chair the Education Committee in the Senate, which he lost to ODM. Mm-hmm. That Karongo Thangwa, senator for Kiambu, was chair for roads, which he lost to ODM. That John Medhu of Nyandarua was chair land, which he lost to ODM. That Honorable Seki of Kajiado County was chair trade, which he lost to ODM. That Morango of Kirinyaga was chair of agriculture, which he lost to Ford Kenya, of course, because of the arrangement between Moses Wetangula and Raila Amolo Odinga. That Mamatinga Wahome was the chair energy, which he lost to Senator Oburu Odinga of ODM. And of course, people will tell you that, hey, Senator Mamatinga is now a commissioner of the PSC. That's why he could not continue holding the seat of chair of energy. But then Wamatinga took over the position in the commission from Senator John Kenyo of Laikipia County. So we lost the energy seat also. So what we are saying is that William Ruto must explain to the people about this if at all he comes to Mount Kenya. And then, like me, I have a long list of the promises that he made to the people of Muranga. The roads that he promised he was going to do. If I start going through the list, Fred, I think the balance of this program will not be enough for me to tell to talk about the many projects that he promised and actually launched, just like the Honorable Boy is saying. He has launched, and there are many projects that we can quote given time, which he has launched not once, not twice, even thrice. We want to hope and pray that he is not coming to relaunch projects that he had launched, because nothing has happened on the ground. The other thing that we want to say, and please allow me to say it, we hope that when he comes to Mount Kenya, that he's not going to bring destruction like he brought in Nairobi, theft and destruction, attacks by goons. Because we have information that what he plans to do is to hire 1,000 motorcycles, where each one of them will have about another 3 or so passengers. He doesn't care that will be risking the lives of our young men and women. And then there'll be thugs specifically brought from Nairobi to attack what you can call the organic crowds that may gather.
Is this something that you're sure will happen, or you just anticipate?
Yes, that's why we are talking about it, so that if it is there, we know. Of course, we also get intelligence, so that if it is there, we alert our people that there will be people attacking them. And what is the motive of this plan to attack people who are doing their businesses? Because William Ruto does not want any organic crowd in his meetings, because these are the crowds that are telling him Ruto must go. So he wants only those that will be hired, people who will be singing his songs. So nobody will be allowed to be around there if you are not one of the hirelings. And that's why everybody will be attacked. And we must alert our people that this is a plan. And most of the people that will come to Mount Kenya, if at all he does, will be people from Nairobi, delivered from Nairobi for that particular purpose. Because like Gogo is saying, the only thing he's interested in getting, it's optics, images of big rallies.
But we've seen that also from the other end, the former deputy president has been holding meetings. He's changed his workings, his modus operandi for the past few days. We're not seeing him in media. He's gone quiet. We're not seeing him being as fiery, and I think it's been captured on the front page of Taifa Leo that he's changed this in anticipation of the trip. Is there any way, any discussion to counter in any way the trip by the president?
We do not need to counter. Our people know William Ruto very well. Our people are well knowledgeable. They know the projects that he has promised. They know what he has not done for them. They know what his government has done, including abductions and killings. They know that SHA is not working. They know that there are problems with the new education.
So what were the meetings about? We've seen meetings specifically about during this time.
Of course, we have, there is housekeeping with every other particular grouping. We meet regularly,
And discuss the anticipated trip by the president.
No. To discuss about our own matters. Remember, we are going to launch a party. The second deputy president is launching a party in May. We are engaged in more important matters. As for William Ruto and his visit
Senator, are you being genuine? Are you not being disingenuous when you say you've not discussed the president's meeting in that forum at Wamunyoro?
No, just maybe telling one another what the intelligence we have, like what I'm saying here, what he's planning to do. Because we know his forays into the mountain will lead to nothing. Our only interest and concern is the safety of our people.
And with those concerns, have you come up with a way probably to contain violence or to do anything?
Yes, that's why I'm saying we are talking the way we are. We are alerting our people even now to be worried that the thugs and crooks will be delivered to come and attack them, to destabilize them, and to steal from them. And so we are telling our people to be worried. But if at all they'll be able to make it to, they should ask him questions. Because they have a right to ask questions. He's the president of Kenya. They pay taxes. They should be able to ask him questions about these projects that he has promised, and about insults that he has been doing, about the purge of the people from their region. Why, incompetence is only found in Mount Kenya, in his view, and competence only found in ODM, in his view. These are the questions people will be asking.
All right.
So we have been doing meetings, housekeeping meetings, and these have been regular. We are not doing any extraordinary meetings now. We have been doing these meetings.
We saw the hesitation by the president to go to Nyeri on Sunday, which would have set the tone for the trip. It was a church event, yes, but at the same time, that church event was attended by the former deputy president, his spouse, and many leaders allied to him. If at all the president would have shown up, it would be the very first time since the Embu Catholic event where the president was heckled by people. Could that be the plan to counter the president from the mountainside, that whenever he is there, these other leaders show up?
Maybe, Fred, before I go to that, it's good for me to tell you that the second deputy president has been very busy because he's going to launch a party in May. He committed to the country. He will keep his words. He's going to launch a political party, one that he believes will be the next steer for people who believe in him and people who want to see us change a number of things in this country. So he'll be launching a party. He's engaging different people. You saw the diaspora people yesterday in his office, in his residence. So, and William Ruto is the list of our concerns in our meetings. We do not sit down to discuss William Ruto. We sit down to discuss issues that William Ruto is doing. And his current trip, one of the things we have agreed is that we will stay away from those meetings. For instance, if he comes to your constituency, we have agreed we will not attend.
Okay.
We have not seen any need for us to attend, and because he has no complete project. So if he's inspecting, why can't he come alone and inspect? Why must he mobilize people to come and inspect?
Okay.
So there's nothing serious about, and there's no complete project.
Okay.
No, none.
Hold that thought there, Bwana Ngogoya. We'll be back to continue this discussion on Facing the Mountain. You're watching Morning Cafe. Let's take a short break.
Is changing every day, and so should we, for the better. Each week, we tackle the big why, the question that should be on everyone's minds. Why isn't this fixed yet? Deforestation, global warming, and the adverse effects of climate change. The future isn't just something that we inherit, it's something that we create. Join us on The Green Fix as we tell the stories of those who refuse to give up. When it comes to fixing the planet, there is no time to waste. Join me, Shiksha Arora, on Thursdays at 9 p.m. on The Green Fix as we look into the big why, you and I.
For comprehensive information and education on your health, Body Garage is here.
Don't allow anyone to pluck out your good tooth as long as it is strong and stable.
Cancer doesn't start today and you get the symptom.
Welcome back. You're still watching Morning Cafe on TV 47. Today we are focusing on the mountain with the anticipated trip to the Mount Kenya region by President William Ruto. Will it happen? Will it not? Those are the questions we are asking. What exactly is a content or discussion or answers that he's taking to the mountain? I'm still in studio with Senator Joe Nyoto of Murang'a and Onesmus Ngogoya, MP Kajiado North. Bwana Ngogoya, I stopped you as you were saying something, but even as you complete your statement. On the issue of development, you're a member of parliament. There are serious issues about budgetary allocations. As the president continues to promise more projects, finishing others, we are acutely aware that there may be not enough resources to actually fulfill some of these promises.
I doubt whether there are not enough resources. I think it's the priorities of the president. I saw what is there in supplementary 2 we did the other day. And remember, the president provides estimates, plans of what he needs to do. You can only alter 10% of what he brings to parliament. Any government comes with the priorities. Some like NGCDF, those are natural things that happen. You don't need the president to get NGCD. Anything NGCDF has nothing to do with the president. As he comes this time, remember on roads, the National Assembly has provided all the resources for him to deal with this issue of pending bills. How? There was a change in the issue of fuel levy to get 7 shillings, so that the 7 shillings go towards the issue of debt. So as we talk today, we do not have a problem with resources for pending bills.
So he can afford this trip?
He can. Let me tell you, we have facilitated him. Why contractors are not working is a question that President William Ruto should answer. Because even way before, when Murkomen was still the CS for Interior, this is a debate we had on how we will fund what was started. And remember, some argue also he did not want to finish majority of the projects because they were in places that he doesn't believe in right now. Majority of those roads were roads that were started by Uhuru Kenyatta. And probably in places where they are, he did not believe that they deserved. There are many arguments. Why did this region get so many roads? Why do you have Kenol Marua Road? And we did not have maybe Rironi to Nakuru. So that argument probably is something that the president, you'll see him hang around there. Fred, I also want you to note that majority of the things William Ruto will be doing is will be going to sites for housing projects. Housing projects, 25% of the monies that you and I give towards housing goes to social programs. One, markets. All those markets are not funded by exchequer money. They are funded by money from the housing. So there are so many markets that are being advertised. You've seen a number of them. He goes to the sites. And it has also a component that goes towards construction of schools. So because you can't create 200 houses, for instance, to carry about 1,000 people, assuming it's 5 in a house without a school. So he's launching a lot of, he's commissioning, what is called groundbreaking for schools and markets. That is the main thing you will see, with money not from exchequer, but from the deductions. And remember, they have confessed that they have even had to put the money on treasury bills because they are not able to absorb the capacity. So you will see a lot of that. But in terms of roads, I'm told even one member of parliament, when they were in State House, told the president, why can't you wait for the roads to get finished and then you come? And of course the president said, no, if we do that, you know, I'll look coward and I don't want to do that.
Right, because they say that some of the MPs are of the view that it is high time the president departs from inspecting projects, launching projects done by the NGCDF, or relaunching already launched projects. This is what the MPs allied to the president are concerned about, that probably it is too soon. And probably I didn't ask you that question. Do you agree that probably for the president he would have waited a bit longer, probably so that he can have a better explanation about the handshake, wait until some of these projects are complete so that he can come and open officially? Is it too soon for the president to embark on this trip?
Yes, it is. But the question we need to ask ourselves is, what informs President Ruto's decisions? Is it really service to the people or politics and commercial interests? I think that is a major question. Because listening to my colleague here, he's saying that even MPs, you know, who support him, and even the dailies have reported that they are advising that he holds on a bit. But then he says, he would look a coward if he didn't do it this time. So what does that tell you? It tells you that what worries President William Ruto is not delivery of services. It is optics. And that's why he must come. But rationally, you know, arguing, he has no reason to come to Mount Kenya at this time. Because of course, he has annoyed the people from that region. He has not done any project in that region. And like you're saying, most of the projects will be CDF projects. I remember him once coming to launch an Uji product, a program by the county in a town called Kangari in my county. And we were there and we took mugs of Uji. That's a county government project. And so the other thing you need to ask yourself is to really interrogate President William Ruto's modus operandi. Is this a president who wants to sit in office and work? Or a president who likes being on car roofs and doing politics all the time? And if the events of the past 2 years are anything to go by, then it tells you that President Ruto believes in being on car roofs and, you know, talking to people, doing politics. And I must also tell you that he has really demeaned the office of president because I saw him the other day in Nairobi, leading the song Kasongo, and telling people what other names they want to give. If you look at former presidents and the stature of that office, because of this Monda Saparedi, it has actually affected this particular, the way people view this particular office. So the answer to your question lies in himself. When he sits down to work, when he plans what to do the following day, when he sits in cabinet, what is the major motivation? Is it service to the people or, politics and commercial interests?
Okay. But we've seen him talk to leaders. He's held several meetings, not just political leaders, now even with governors.
Probably before Goyo comes, kindly, there's something that I forgot to say, kindly, and I don't like interrupting you. It's about the markets that Honorable Goyo talked about. I think we need to also look at, we should think what priorities should we have. Because when you look at these markets, and they are a good thing, but I don't know what my colleague thinks. But you'll see a storied market structure in some rural place. And as much as I do, that most of the people that buy, like foodstuffs, sukuma, cabbages and all that, they want to eat something they can pick as they go home. I mean, you look at a rural market structure that has, upper floors, and they are basically just structures. Nobody will even go up there. So we need to ask ourselves, and I think this is something that the president may consider if he thinks it's right. What is our priority? Because if you ask me, health should be the topmost priority. Number 2 should be education. And for now, for example, we are transiting grade 9s to grade 10, where they are supposed to pick pathways. But the cry in every other school is, have we prepared this? Have teachers even been able to identify the competencies of these learners before they join a grade 10, where they are supposed to pick a pathway? Or not? Okay. Why I'm saying that, would we have better spent the monies that we are spending on markets? I think it would have been a better priority to equip schools with labs and what have you, because how do you now know which particular student will join STEM when they have not been exposed to any lab or something like that? So I think it's time that government started, prioritizing its agenda depending on the most urgent needs and the most important needs. Okay. And I'm not trying to say that markets are not important, but we should just prioritize matters. I mean, pending bills that my friend talked about. This is non-payment of pending bills is what is affecting people, and that's why people are saying there is no money in the pockets. Okay. Because if these bills were settled, then there'll be a lot of money, doing the rounds in the market, in the economy, and everybody would be better off. So I think priorities is something that President Ruto and his government need to think about.
I want us to interrogate what the role of governors would be in this trip to the mountain, because President William Ruto summoned governors to State House for a meeting in planning that. There's projects that are carried out by the county government. The president has his own issues at the national level. What do you think the role of county governors will be in a trip such as this?
I think governors are just being intimidated to provide. You see, the president would want all leaders to be available so that it is seen he has been received by leaders from the mountain. That is his main, they have no role. The other thing I was told is that they provided a number of projects, governors.
And so you're going to launch projects?
Yeah. State House requested them, provide if you have anything the president can launch for you, courtesy, so that the president is also seen to launch something. Some of them have provided their hospitals. I'm told some of them have small projects here and there. You will see some in Kirinyaga, I'm told in Tharaka-Nithi.
Which are purely county projects.
Yeah, they're county projects.
The president's role is just
but he does that a lot of times. It is not the first time. And you talked about NGCDF projects. Remember, in Kisauni, he launched a secondary school built by NGCDF. Nothing to do with him as a person. NGCDF is a fund that runs on its own. And because of, and they were even asked to provide, do you have anything in your county that you would want the president to, you know, put in his diary? Even us, when we were working with him closely, he would request, of course, some of us, we never did that, because we would always request that let us do things that are funded by, were initiated by himself, so that even people would see that the president has been able to do. I also have a big problem with that attitude of thinking that you can summon governors, you can call PSS, first of all, force them to appear in those meetings. I'm told, you know, this one, if you miss, you are undermining the president, even if you're on another engagement. For instance, the governor for Nyeri was hosting the World Scouts Committee. And for your information, since Monday, Nyeri has become the World Scouts city in the world. They came to declare the city. So he was not available for the State House meeting. And rumor has it, because he's an ally of the president, that is why he did not come. But he had the executive committee, and they had communicated 2 months before to him that they will be coming. I mean, how do you leave a status of a world city? And I've seen the Honorable Ruku.
Yes, I want to introduce the Honorable Geoffrey Ruku, MP Mbeere North. Karibu sana bwana Ruku.
And he should first apologize.
We are happy that you're here so that this conversation can be complete. You can imagine the amount of damage that your colleagues have done in your absence. On the front page of the Standard, it says that Ruto is blowing hot and cold over Mount Kenya, that MPs allied to the president. Some MPs feel that this trip to the mountain is coming too close. It's too soon, that the president should probably have waited a bit before engaging in this trip. I don't know what your feeling is about that.
I'm sure my two colleagues here and I feel day in terms of saying how the government is banned, saying how the President of the Republic is not doing his work. But Kenyans are more clever. You can see Kenya Airways has reported huge profit for first time in
You attribute that to the President?
Of course, it is the President. That was one of his clear manifesto, and you can even get the clips where he said once he becomes the president, he will turn around Kenya Airways. Because Kenya Airways has been a cash cow of every single administration, year in, year out. But now the profit are coming in. Last year it reported for over 500 million.
But we are also aware that it's because Treasury took over a lot of the debt from Kenya Airways, amounting to about 19 billion.
Not in comparison as to the number of years when the government has built Kenya Airways year in, year out for the last 11 years. Okay. So when something is good, let's say it is good, give call a spade, and at the same time, give credit where it is due. So I know my two colleagues are disillusional. They may not be seeing what is happening because of their own selfish interest, very parochial selfish interest for that matter, very tribal, very ethnic. And I'm saying this with reasons. We can see how the president has transformed the coffee sector. Today, coffee is reporting profits.
Bwana Ruku, our focus is on the trip to Mount Kenya. And I asked you a direct question on the allies, MPs allied to the president. Some feel that the trip, which is planned, and one of the MPs confirmed that the date is between 31st and 6th of this month, of the next month, that probably this is coming too soon. There are issues that probably need to be sorted out before the president goes there.
No,
do you agree with that?
You are talking about some MPs who are allied to the president. This is one of them who is seated here. And we are saying we wished the president came to Mount Kenya region several months ago. We are waiting for him from the 31st of this month for a week. And actually the week is not enough. If possible, we would want him to stay in Mount Kenya region for 2 weeks. In Mount Kenya region, we have 66 constituencies. We have several counties, about 9 or so counties. Out of these 66 constituencies, the president cannot be able to visit each and every constituency within 5-6 days. And we want him to visit each and every constituency in Mount Kenya region.
Because you've been involved in this plan, what exactly should the people of Mount Kenya expect when the president comes? What should be the expectation?
It is very simple. President was given a job by the people of Mount Kenya in quite huge number of votes. He's coming to present a scorecard for the 2.5 years to the people of Mount Kenya region. Okay? He's going to say, for the last 2.5 years, the prices of coffee was, when I was taking over the administration, was this much. At the moment, the prices of coffee is this much. When I was taking administration, the prices of tea was this much. At the moment, 72 Kenya shilling per kg. When I was taking the administration, the prices of milk was 20, 25, 30 shilling. At the moment, it's 50 shilling per litre. When I was taking the administration, my Mau roads were stuck. There were no construction on my Mau road. Today, the Mau road construction is going on. He will be reporting, you know, what he has done.
What he promised and what
he promised and what he has done.
There were political
He will
promises.
be telling the people of Beira North that when I was taking administration, Kanyombora irrigation project, there was no such a project. Today, the Kanyombora irrigation project of close to 300 million is ongoing, is almost completion. He will be telling the people of Beira North, when I was taking over as a president, in Beira North, there was no irrigation called Kamata project of about 200 million Kenya shilling. Today, the 200 million the irrigation project in our ward is going on. He will be telling the people of Beira North, when I was taking becoming the president, the road from Kanyombora to Kamomo to Soko, there was no such a road which was being tarmac. Today, about 5 kilometers have been tarmac, and the contractor, Steco, is on the site constructing the road. These are the kinds of the project which President will be telling the people of Mount
Among
Kenya.
the promises he made some political promises as well. And one that stood out was the fact that he said he would never engage in any handshake like what his predecessor did with Raila Odinga. Now this is coming just weeks after he engaged in a different handshake with Raila Odinga. Will this be one of those people?
President of
will he be explaining to the people of Mount Kenya about the broad-based government?
President of the Republic of Kenya will be telling the people of Mount Kenya region things to do with development politics. The shenanigans of tribal ethnic politics, he will not go there. The incompetence of one man called Rigathi Gachagua, he will not go there.
It's not about Rigathi Gachagua, it's about Raila Odinga. He made it his campaign issue to demonize the handshake between Raila Odinga and his then boss, Uhuru Kenyatta. In fact, his campaign was really based on him saying that the Big Four agenda that he had with his boss was derailed by the handshake. This is coming about 2 weeks after he signed a memorandum of understanding with Raila Odinga. He promised the people of Mount Kenya he would not do it. He has done it.
You will explain why he did it. Because the selfishness of one person looking at Kenya as only in the interests of one region. One person kept on saying the government of the Republic of Kenya is a shareholding government. One person kept on abusing other elected leaders, calling them very dangerous, very obscene terms, you know, especially women leaders, terms which I may not even be able to pronounce on this station. That person is the one who went to June 25th of last year, and it was turnaround of this country.
So he'll explain it.
In terms of political realignment of this country. And one Raila Odinga put his self-interest back, and he considered the nation first. And that is what Raila has done for this administration. That's what Raila Odinga has done for this country, so that Kenya can remain one indivisible nation. We saw what some very senior leaders then, what they were doing in Mombasa, the kind of outburst they were making in terms of even accusing very serious institutions of the Republic, which have been assisting this nation to run for years. President will explain, if need be, why Raila Odinga and to come into government.
Okay.
It is because of one man who decided to go rogue, but thank God we beat the Pharaoh.
Okay. Senator, kindly respond to that.
Thank you, Fred. And I suspect that Honorable Roko was actually not going to come for this show. You have seen the time that he has showed up. He must have been called by somebody from somewhere and told, you must attend that show. And that is why he is trying to breathe fire. But let me tell him that he has mentioned very many things that President Ruto has done, including KQ. And you rightly reminded him that some 19 billion debt was written by Treasury, which is a good thing. But any company, of course, runs on corporate governance. And so I think it's good to give credit to where it is due, and not just to government. And he has actually gone wrong. And I'm shocked when he accuses Rigathi Gachagua of having gone wrong. He came here and started saying that that some of us are driven by selfish interests and tribal inclinations. And I was with him here last week. And Honorable Roko is very smart in avoiding the issues. If you have listened to him very keenly, I think he's possessed about Rigathi Gachagua. I know, because when you say that all the problems in Mount Kenya are because of Rigathi Gachagua, can Honorable Roko tell you whether Linturi is, Medical Linturi, who was fired by William Ruto, having campaigned for him so viciously, whether he was fired because because of the incompetence, in quotes, of Rigathi Gachagua, whether Muturi, who is his party leader, and who is on the verge of course, Ruto is afraid, fears firing him, because Muturi has stood and said, come on, I cannot continue attending cabinet meetings with killers, people who are abducting children and killing them. Honorable Roko will not tell you about abductions and killings. Honorable Roko will come here and tell you about the irrigation project. I've not visited Derry North to see whether they are there. But if the lies that President Ruto tells every time he speaks is anything to go by, I think those projects, I do not know how to speak with certainty, but I think they're just promises and a few actions there, because I've seen him launch roads in my county with the heavy earth-moving machinery, and immediately he leaves, they also leave. So I think maybe it's the same thing, but let me not speak with certainty because I do not know. Let Honorable Roko tell you whether Dendi Nyoro was fired because of the incompetence of Rigathi Gachagua. Let Honorable Roko tell you whether Moses Kuria was fired because he was because of the incompetence of Rigathi Gachagua. And that's why I tell you he's possessed. He cannot tell you anything other than Rigathi Gachagua. I believe, I don't like going too personal, but I believe those that are in his people in his house, I believe he went to them, they would tell you that Honorable Roko mentions the name Rigathi Gachagua in his dreams. Because where does Rigathi Gachagua come from? You ask him about the pending visit by William Ruto and the questions that people have. And I've told you the roads, the many promises he has given in my county. I mean, you can talk about Roko, please hold on.
These guys for the last 1.5 hours. You can't give him another.
I'm responding to all the things that you're saying.
He has been here for the last 1.5 hours.
I'll give you time.
Just come now.
I'll give you time to.
I think you can advise Honorable Roko. He can as well.
Been spending time saying.
Now
we've extended
when I was not there. Recycling. Okay. You can advise Honorable Roko. If he wants to be the one allocating minutes in programs, he can quit as a Berry Northern P and apply to be a host also in this particular program and other programs so that he can allocate minutes.
Okay,
he cannot come here and purport to be somebody who is speaking, about Raila, Rigathi Gachagua, who is actually not here, and you have asked him definite questions about the pending visits. Then he doesn't want us to respond. He wants to be the one controlling the minutes allocated. He can apply, you can show him how you can apply to be a host here, and you can have helped him. So what I'm saying is, this Roko you see here, when he talks about the coffee, the success in coffee, who was charged with the responsibility of bringing reforms in the coffee sector? It is the same Rigathi Gachagua that he now wants to be devil and call incompetent, who held a very successful meeting where we even identified, and you are there as leaders in Meru, the problems that were bedeviling the coffee sector. And and we identified that cartels within the coffee sector were the ones that were making it very hard for farmers to reap the benefits. And we identified problems led by Rigathi Gachagua that some people were doing, had companies as buyers of coffee. Okay. They were also milling, and they were also exporters under different companies. Okay. And this is what has now been,
and it's interesting that everyone is now talking about Rigathi Gachagua. Should we expect that will be part of the agenda of the trip?
That's why we have these reforms, these improvements.
Okay. Before I come back to
you, can I say this? Allow me, please. Yes, take enough.
Because I'll come back to you and I'll give you enough time to actually respond to all this. Should we expect Rigathi Gachagua to be part of the agenda of the president's trip? Will he try and explain why he got impeached?
Actually, listening to Ruku, my colleague Ruku and friend, who came in late, you can tell the agenda of this meeting. One of the items that they have, save from the few things he's talking about, there is Rigathi Gachagua. But I want to put a disclaimer that Ruku sits in parliament and he knows it is parliament that appropriates monies to different departments of government. Ruku knows that if you want a road to be done, you need to budget for it. Ruku knows if you want any project, you need to budget for it. It is not President William Ruto who comes to give projects in meetings. If President William Ruto was genuine about his visit to any part of this country, before the visit, during budgeting, he should call leaders from that area to check on the priorities, and after which they're inserted in the budget, and then you can say you have projects that you are awaiting. But Ruku is talking about the stalled projects. Majority of what he's talking about is stalled project. We have facilitated as parliament through the fuel levy for how those stalled projects will be completed without exchequer money.
Okay.
This is money collected from fuel levy, increased the 3 shillings to 7, and the 7 goes towards now the debt, which is good. It is actually a good thing. It's a debt we found ourselves in, and you need to find a way of making sure that we get out of the debt.
Okay.
The Honorable Ruku, and I don't blame him. I know he's also one of those sycophants of the president. He's one of those who will sing about the president in the morning, in the afternoon. I'm told Ruku goes after every day he must visit the State House so that he's given a brief. But one thing Ruku forgets, if the people of Kanyabora and Bere North will not forgive you because one of your constituents, your age mate, was abducted by this government. Ruku did not talk about it. The son of CS Muturi. Ruku did not even mention anything. And he expects that his constituents will be very happy about him.
Okay.
And it's very sad that Ruku, you never made a statement anywhere when a son of your constituency was abducted.
Okay.
And the people of Bere North will never forgive you. If CS Muturi will be sacked for saying the government must sit down in cabinet and talk about abductions, and he will not attend cabinet until the agenda of abduction is there, Ruku, you will not be forgiven.
Okay.
You are a leader who has shown he's not concerned. How can you've never talked of Leslie Muturi since he was abducted?
All right. Let's give Bonaruko an opportunity to respond to those issues raised. Plus, the question, now that you've talked about Rigathi Gachagua, do we expect the president to give an explanation to the people of Mount Kenya why the deputy president had to be impeached during this trip?
Before I come to your question, let me say a few things concerning my two colleagues here. One is that I will not accept invitation into shenanigans, into very unfounded allegations. If my brother Ngogoyo wants to know or prove, he can go to media. There are many clips and you'll get an answer there. I will not accept such kind of invitation to discuss innuendos and unnecessary twists which will not benefit anyone. Secondly, I also not accept invitation by Senator Nyoto on this very parochial way of looking into very serious affairs of the Republic of Kenya. And I pray that a time will come when my brother Nyoto will talk like his age, you know. He will be more concrete on issues affecting the Republic of Kenya, not on the issues which are just personal, just selfish, ethnic. You know, we know this government as cabinet secretaries from all corners of the Republic of Kenya. And we thank the administration that most of those who are serving the cabinet, they come from our region. Most of them. The one he's talking about were replaced. They were replaced with the people from his region. Competent sons and daughters of the region as well, who can serve this nation and who have proved to serve this nation diligently. So, President will be touring Mount Kenya region because it's part of Kenya, just like he has done in coastal region, western region, northeastern region. And indeed, he has shown the prowess of knowing the names of the roads, whether it is in Kisii, whether it is northeastern, because that is his job. That is the job he was given by the people of the Republic. I am sure some of us, they don't know even the name of our roads in our counties. So he has shown that he has the interests of the Republic at heart, and he will be explaining to the people of Mount Kenya region, from Kiambu to Nyeri, to Murang'a, to Laikipia, to Embu, to Meru, what his administration has achieved in stabilizing the prices of commodities, in stabilizing the sharing, in getting the project going on, in getting water project moving, our roads construction moving, you know. This is his government. Whether, you know, when you talk about treasury of who? It is a treasury of the people of the Republic of Kenya, and the people of the Republic of Kenya, they gave one person called William Ruto to guide them for the 5 years. By the end of the 5 years, they will look at the score, they will gauge, they will go to the vote, and they will give the verdict, whether President has done a good job to them or not.
Okay, you talked about Rigathi Gachagua. Will that be part of the agenda of the President? Will he mention Rigathi Gachagua in any way? Probably the issue about impeachment or the upheaval that has been caused by his impeachment?
With this kind of shenanigans from his troops, do you think, given an opportunity for me to address the people of Beira North, I will not talk about him?
Okay.
Of course.
So
I will talk about him.
Okay.
Because we have to call devil by its name. Okay. If you want to chase demons, you have to call the demons by their name.
All right.
So we have to call the devil by its name.
Okay.
And that is exactly what me, as a member of parliament, given an opportunity, I will exactly do.
You've been in meetings with the president. He will talk about his former deputy president.
No, president never said anywhere. We have been in a meeting to tell the president we are ready to receive you to our constituencies. Okay, but the president never said that we are going to talk about Rigathi Gachagua.
Okay.
But me personally, I'm saying, you have to call the devil by its name.
I'll give you, each one of you, about a minute and a half for your final comments. We start with you, Senator.
Thank you. Fred, I just want to request my colleague, Honorable Ruko, that he does not expect that when he comes here and makes wild allegations against people, that when you respond to his issues, that then we are tribalistic, like I had said, and we are, you know, doing parochial things, and that some of us should behave our age. That is not very kind, but anyway, just give it to him. He's serving somebody who calls people stupid all the time and calls people devils. You cannot avoid talking about that, but we need a serious pastor to pray for Honorable Ruko. Because I think he's haunted by the image of Rigathi Gachagua, because he's the one that brought that name here. So when you respond, he wants to say that he will not be invited to such shenanigans. We were just responding to what he said. They say in computer world, garbage in, garbage out. So he brought garbage in we had to bring out garbage because that is what he brought. And so he should not, gag us when you say something. You expect people that come here are people who are not only elected, but people who also went to school. And when you say something, they are going to, you asked me to respond. Okay. I had not talked about anything else. So I just want to correct him. He has said that we do not look at Kenya at large. I want to remind him that there is a reason why people are elected from their places. That is why he's member of parliament from Mbeere North. And that's why he will promote the interests of Mbeere North. And he has mentioned Mbeere North very many times. I don't know why then he does not want us to mention the regions where we come from. And I want to remind Honorable Ruko that roads, in quotes, because there are no roads that William Ruto is doing, especially in our region, that if you make roads, you make dams, then your government abducts and kills youthful members of the society, then you have nothing. And you have noted, he has been challenged by even Gogoyo to talk about abductions, killings, about lies, about those bad things. And we must remind one another, Fred, that America, which is famed for its being developed, the first thing is democratic principles and the rights of people. Honorable Ruko has not talked about the rights of Kenyans that William Ruto and his government are violating day in, day out. And we must call them out. Yes. Finally, let me say that, why we are saying that William Ruto has given us a road deal. We know he has picked people after he kicked out those that helped him in campaigns. We know that when he kicked them, he has replaced them. But of course, with people who cannot dare tell him no when it requires no. Senator. And all the positions have been given to Western. CS Ndungu, it has been given to Bandi, ODM. Dende Nyoro, budget has been given to Atadi, ODM, and others. And we should not talk about that.
We'll have time for parting shot, Bwana Ngogoyo.
Yeah, thank you. The president has said he's going to the mountain. Members of parliament, even some of them sycophants, told him to come when projects are concluded, when projects are complete. There is no new road the president is coming to launch. There is no complete project the president has to come and launch. He has picked a number of projects from governors, a few classes, probably Ruku, here and there, but he's coming for optics. In Nairobi County, as you saw him, the president was accompanied behind him, and wherever he went, he left goons behind. I'm asking the Honorable Ruku, whoever are the planners for this meeting, please don't accompany with your meeting, don't come with goons, because you left mass destruction in Nairobi and theft. I saw only the National Police Service has reported about they have arrested 12 people, but there was a lot of damages that were caused. I'm requesting the Honorable Ruku, don't bring damages to the people as you plan. It is also good for you as you plan. Remember, you are saying you are coming to launch projects, you're coming to do this. As you do all those things, kindly remind the president in Mbeere North that the son of the CS, Muturi, was abducted. We have not had anything going forward about the abduction. And the member of parliament from Mbeere North, you will not be forgiven because you have not talked about the issue of the abduction of the son of the CS, JB. And if he sacked the Mbeere North MP, we will blame you.
Okay. Bwana Ruko, parting shot.
Idmuri, one, these are my colleagues given powers by the Constitution of the Republic to do what is necessary instead of just coming here to lament. They are supposed to use the floor of the House in the most appropriate way, in terms of guiding this nation on the atrocities which they are talking about. But both of them, none of them, because they are lazy, they have not done that. I have developed a bill which I launched yesterday with the Speaker of the National Assembly, the bill on anti-abduction bill. The bill which gives anybody who is abducted, it gives that Kenyan, it shields that Kenyan in terms of the remedies which are supposed to be done, is supposed to get, the damages which is supposed to get, and the kind of punishment. Whoever is orchestrating such kind of a crime, the kind of punishment which should be done, by the courts, by the judicial processes. Because we have a premium platform which we can utilize and get it right as far as the wrongs which have been done to the people. So that you'll be telling us, why is it that they never, because they are talking about this abduction as if they don't have space on a way they can get it right. They can ensure it's not going to happen to any other person. Okay? That's why I have gone ahead to ban the midnight oil and ensure, with my legal team, with my researchers, I have developed a very strong bill, which I'll be sharing with you in the course of the day, so that you can see what we are talking, that we don't just come here and lament. We take actions. We take actions for posterity of this nation. So tell my friend Ngogoyo, just stop this lamentation for gallery. Do what you are supposed to do as per the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya.
All right.
You have the powers to register it. Indimuri and others, they don't have that power. More than 50 million of Kenyans, they don't have that power.
Yes.
We have only 290 members of parliament elected.
Is that your
47 elected senators who can be able to do this.
Should I take it as your parting shot?
But what they know best is to come here, shout, go to the barrios, go to the church, shout. But when it comes to the floor of the house, they do nothing. Ask my brother Ngogoyo and Senator Nyoto, how many bills, even amendment, they have tabled on the floor of the house? None, zero for the last 2.5 years. Are they helping this nation? No. But the guy who we are talking about here, the problem they are talking about, I have sat down, I have prescribed the solution of ensuring that the abduction will never happen in the coming days. Through a proper, well-crafted law.
Thank you so much. Geoffrey Ruku, MP Mbeere North, Joe Nyoto, Senator Murang'a, and Onesmus Ngogoyo, MP Kajiado North. Today our focus was on facing the mountain, the anticipated trip by the President to the Mount Kenya region. Thank you for your time at TV47 and for the sides and opinions that you've represented here as well. We do anticipate that this will indeed happen, although the Standard is doubtful today, says President Ruto is blowing hot and cold over Mount Kenya, with some of his allies feeling that the trip is coming a bit too soon. Probably he would have waited until some of the projects are ready. Of course, we'll be reporting that as well. After the break, it is Tasty Wednesday. We'll be having Mike Elastic, a mixologist from Panama. And remember, today is the third day of the interviews for the chairperson of the IEBC. And we may be forced to go there live in a short time. So do stand by for that as well. My name is Freddie Ndimuli. Good morning.